What's up, guys? It's John Dominique, the sole proponent. Today, I want to address debaters because I keep running into people, all they want to do is debate whether God exists or not. And, that might move the bar a little bit. That might make us a little bit of progress. But the issue is that we're trying to understand God, what is spiritual, on an intellectual level. We think reasoning and rationality, we can discover if God is real or not by using these man-made tools. So we're using the wrong tools, I propose. Reason and intellect will not determine if there's a God or not. We're limited in our scope if we're going to use those tools. We're limited to what can be known with the mind and what can be discovered with those tools. Those tools are good for science, mathematics, whatever fields that man has come up with. So there's a limit. To discover if God is real or not, debating the question it won't actually resolve the actual question. We'll just kind of we'll just have different viewpoints, and we'll argue our viewpoints till we're blue in the face, and we won't see that we're just seeing it multiple ways. Truth is a multifaceted jewel, which means there's multiple ways to see things. And the ego identity and its need to debate is just trying to it wants to stick with its one way. It's trying to win and trying to say, my way is the only way, there's no other way to see things. It wants to rule out, negate any other possibility other than its own one perspective. And it's not taking into consideration the entire story because it doesn't know the entire story. So there's a part of our awareness, I guess you could say, there's an unconscious part of our consciousness that's unconscious and the unknown. So there's the truth of the unknown. And that's where this debating cannot go. And that's where we need to go on the path to the soul if we're going to try to determine if God is real or not. It goes through not knowing. But people who want to debate, basically, they don't want to take into consideration that not knowing is one of the clues, one of the indicators that there's a God, because God can't be known with the mind. But they don't want to take that as any evidence. They don't want to take that as one single, it's just one of the many indicators that there's a God. The other indicators, like mystery, we try to get closer to God with using our intellect and rationality in our minds, but we never can. It seems like it's always in the distance. It's mysterious because we think that our tools are good enough to be able to figure it out. And if we just try harder, then it should work out. And given enough time, it will work out. So a lot of these debaters are just like, yeah, well, we didn't know, for instance, that thunder, back when we didn't have any technology, thunder and lightning we thought were created by gods, but now we know they're created by lightning, blah, blah, blah. That's one. And they use that example as a blanket way to determine if God is real or not, and that they can figure it out using science. They'll figure it out using the mind and rationality. It won't work that way, unfortunately. They want, they have wishful thinking, they have hopes, they have ideas and images of how it should be. Oh, we should be able to figure it out with science. Just give us enough time. Eventually, we'll figure it out. Sorry, but that's not going to work. Again, because these are man-made tools that we're using to try to resolve a spiritual issue. It can't be done. So we're using the wrong tools. These people who want to debate about if God is real or not, trying to debate, they end up just delaying the process. And when they do get a little bit of a clue, they can't actually see, fit the pieces of the puzzle together to see that that what they're getting is just one piece of the puzzle of the overall picture. The truth has many aspects. We have to see the other side of it. And so I'm presenting the other side, other issues, other ideas that we need to take into consideration. So just seeing it one way and seeing it my way and trying to debate that my way is better or your way is wrong, and then trying to prove it wrong, it doesn't really do the job. There's more to it, a lot more to the story, a lot more to the path. So, I mentioned the unknown, and that unknown aspect is the way, was part of the path. And to be able to let go of what we do know and face the challenge of what we don't know, and to face the mystery, that's a heavy cost. That's a price. And that's symbolized in the story of Jesus, all the sacrifices he had to make. And also when they stripped Jesus of all his robes before they crucified him, that's also symbolic of of what happens on the path to the soul. We're stripped of all of our capacities. There's no supporting ourselves with our identity. There's no looking forward in time. There's no thinking. There's nothing we can use that we usually depend on for a sense of reliability and a sense of foundation. It's all of that is stripped, and that's part of going on the path of the soul. But people don't want to do that. They want to hang on more to science and reason, thinking that, if I try hard enough, eventually I'll make it. I'll figure it out. So we have to look at ourselves and be honest and say, well, why are we debating? What's so important about debating? We're trying to get the answers. Yeah. A lot of times, sincerely, most people are trying to find the truth. But if they're really trying to find the truth, when they come up with this, when they come across the information that I'm providing, then they have to take it to heart and look at it further. Because if you're not trying to discover the truth, you'll just, in one ear and out the other. And then I'll only do it when it's convenient. I'll only do it when there's no challenges. I'll only debate, up to a point. And then when I find out that my debating is making things worse, I'll put my head in the sand like an ostrich, so I won't have to see what the rest of the truth is. That's how the ego operates. It's predictable, it's repeatable, and it's observable. The path of the soul is all of these, but people would rather it be another way because they're just so hanging on to their ideas of how things should be, quote unquote, instead of how reality actually is. They have fantasies of what if there were a God, X, Y, Z. Science would be able to detect it. We'd be able to physically see it. We'd be able to know for a fact that there is a God. It doesn't work that way. It's almost the exact opposite. People can't wrap their heads around it. They don't want to. It's too painful. The consequences would be too great. They don't want to pay the price. But I'm here to say there's a path and there's a way to see it. Now, again, when we debate, we need to ask ourselves very sincerely and be radically honest. Why are we debating? A lot of people, sometimes they do want to find the truth. But again, they'll only do it up to a point. Up to the point where they're not uncomfortable. Because if you go all the way to the truth, it's very uncomfortable. Most people don't want to do it. People turn their backs. Because it's too difficult. They'd rather it not be that way. And they don't want to see the emptiness. They don't want to feel the vulnerability. Don't want to feel the feelings of worthlessness. The deficiency underneath the need to decide or the need to find out if God is real or not. Because what's motivating that desire a lot of time is trying to avoid the pain of seeing that we don't know God. We don't know if God is real or not. It's painful for people. Without finding the answer, it's kind of a suffering, but it's a noble suffering. So we don't have to judge ourselves for it. We don't have to put ourselves down for it. But we just need to see that sometimes what's motivating the need to debate is pain and suffering. And you can kind of see this because the people that do want to debate like that, they lash out at people who give them tell them otherwise than what they think, who tell them ideas that might crush their foundations. They lash out at them and they try to put them down, try to make them look like they don't know what they're talking about. They curse at them, yell at them, make them feel like they're worthless. But there's a projection of their own pain. It's a symptom of their own deficiency and their own inadequacy. We all have to feel that inadequacy and all that deficiency and all that worthlessness in its entirety, all that emptiness. But the ego and its need to debate sometimes, that'll come out as an unconscious projection, which comes out into the world. So like we need to clean on what's on the inside of the cup, and then the outside will become clean. So the ego, it projects, and that's one of its methods of avoiding, repressing, projecting. So the need to debate, we need to question ourselves and see if we're actually trying to find the truth or not. And if we are trying to find the truth, then we need to be sincere and honest about it. We can't lie and think, oh, we're getting closer to God if we just try harder using reason and we just continue to debate, we'll eventually find the answer. You can look inside your own experience and see, has debate ever got you the answer to if God exists or not? Since the dawn of time, mankind has debating this question. Where's the answers? There's basically no answers. So we need to look at that and see there's something there. There's something, I'm not saying there's something wrong, but there's something missing, or there's some key information that we don't have. And we need to take that into consideration and see all sides of it. The truth has multiple angles, multifaceted jewel. It's important. So debating, it can do partial good. I'm not saying don't debate at all. It can sharpen our skills and help us see other angles, but there's more to the story. And we need to see the more to the story, the unconscious part, the unknown. We need to venture into these realms that are quote unquote forbidden, basically, because these are territories that no one talks about. Nobody hardly ever, there's very little information about any of this, and I'm here to share this. This is important for debate and for walking the path to the soul. John Dominique, the Soul Proponent.